It seems strange to me that so many students go through an undergraduate degree where the only knowledge of lawyers they get is through their careers programme and a bit of summer experience. Well, I certainly would like more students to have the option of studying about lawyers. I think it's very interesting. I would say that, that's what I do. I was a solicitor myself, I've done lots of research on lawyers, so naturally I think it's interesting. But I think if students have the opportunity to learn a bit about legal practice, the dilemmas of legal practice, what law is like as a business, the problems that creates for them as professionals, all those kinds of things are actually really important, and I think they will find that rewarding and interesting, and it's something a bit different from, if you like, your black letter legal courses. I think one of the things that some students do lack is an understanding of what working in law firms or chambers will really be like and what they're really interested in. A lot of students only really see the information that's put out by big city firms, and that really frames their view of what law is about, and it's all in quite glossy marketing brochures. It doesn't really give you the underlying, it's kind of glamorised, you know, perfectly properly and fairly, but it doesn't really give them a feeling of what life will really be like as, you know, a city solicitor in a big firm. And for some people that really isn't the life for them, and they realise 2 or 3 years in that they don't like the long hours or the nature of the work or whatever it might be. So I think, you know, there is a case for saying they should understand a bit more about what practice is like and what the different options are. It's very difficult to get work experience, particularly if you don't have any contacts in the profession, and particularly in the smaller firms it can get increasingly hard. They don't have defined programmes. Lots of students lack the confidence to make approaches and so on. But I do encourage any students that I talk to use any opportunity they have to talk to firms, chambers, lawyers in-house, whatever it might be, and say, can I come and spend a bit of time with you, can I get a bit of work experience, just so they get a bit of a flavour of what the things are like and a range of experience, because they might see, they might shadow a family barrister or a family solicitor and suddenly realise that that's a really exciting kind of work they're really interested in. The benefit that they get as students from doing pro bono for themselves is actually an understanding of what it's really like trying to help people with legal problems. Some of them are more likely to go into legal aid type work as a result, because they like the reward, the kind of natural emotional reward, if you like, of helping people who are in difficult situations. Students could probably expect to be under more scrutiny post-qualification than they are currently. So there's talk about having a kind of 5-year MOT for lawyers, for instance. That kind of thing might come in. There's not much they can do to prepare for that other than to kind of start to develop the habits of, if you like, constant self-improvement, constantly updating your knowledge, trying to be the best at what you do, taking the job of being a really good lawyer really seriously, getting that kind of mindset. So if law firms change their shape and their nature, the people with the widest range of skills, the most flexibility, are going to be the ones that cope best with that changing environment. So I would say to students, don't go in with the idea that I am going to qualify as a trainee in this firm, I'm going to do this kind of work and I'm going to be a partner by year 10, because there is a significant likelihood that their expectations will be disappointed. If they go in and think, well, I want to do this, it's interesting, I'm going to develop these skills, and then I might go into this career or that career, they're more likely to be able to cope with a quite rapidly changing environment. Well, I mean, the standard route is to do a PhD, and that involves 3 or 4 years training. The grants or stipends for that are pretty low, so if you've been in practice, you generally have to take a pretty severe cut in living standards. That makes it quite difficult. I really enjoyed my time in practice. It was great. I worked for a really interesting firm, had great colleagues, did some really exciting work, but I loved the mixture of things that I got to do as an academic. So I was working with policymakers, doing research on legal aid, working with practitioners, getting a really privileged position to be able to see what was going on and research what was going on and then write about it and talk about it. It varies from people to person, what they like. The teaching is fun. It's great to deal with the students. I love the writing and the researching, getting to find things out, apply your ideas to what's going on, test your ideas out. The opportunity to work with the professions, the regulators, government, those kinds of bodies at the policy level, that's a real opportunity when you've got a bit of experience. That can be quite exciting. You're not as driven by things like timesheets.
Yeah.
That was kind of the one thing I didn't like about practice, was having to fill out the timesheet every day with your 6-minute units. You don't have those kinds of bureaucratic pressures or commercial pressures, if you like. You have some bureaucratic pressures, but you're not so pushed towards kind of commercial aims.